Hey everyone, I'm Brad Nelson.
And I'm Todd Anderson.
And you're watching the Versus Series by StarCityGames.com. All right, so today we're going to be playing a little bit more standard action.
Ooh, yeah.
And I'm playing a deck that I played a ton with at SCG Con. I played Esper Control in the Invitational and the Classic the next day, and my total record was 12-3-1 in matches played.
That's pretty good.
It was not bad. I do really like the deck. I did lose round one of the Classic, though, and so did Jerry Thompson.
Yeah.
And we played in round two.
Oh,
and then there
fake feature match.
There were fireworks. Oh, we had a crowd.
Yeah.
We had a crowd in the 0-1 bracket of a Classic. And we went real deep, took the whole time. And that's why I was like, you know what, I want to run this matchup on the Versus Series because it is a fun one.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's not going to be as wham-bam like we had earlier.
Oh, yeah. Earlier in the week, Mono Red Flame of the Celt, even though I didn't draw the namesake card, definitely squished ya.
I mean, you did draw all the other cards that could also be the namesake of the deck.
Oh, yeah. Mono Red Fanatical Firebrand
Yeah.
deck. Yeah, so I am going to be playing Jerry Thompson's 75 from his most recent updated article. This is just blue-black mid-range at its finest. You know, decent amount of removal, a couple of creatures that if Brad doesn't kill them may take over the game, and like Glint Sleeve Siphoner, as well as like Champion of the Woods to filter draws and have a big thing late game. It's a very, you know, it's based around the Scarab God. This is a deck that you actually worked on for quite some time.
For a whole season.
About 5 months ago or so.
Yeah, about that.
We played at Grand Prix Memphis a little while ago, and it was a good deck. Things have changed since then. I think Siphoner got a little bit worse just because of Goblin Chain Whirler. But it wasn't even good against Mono Red to begin with, just because it didn't really trade. Well, it didn't trade with things like they had 4 shocks or whatever.
I thought the card was great against them.
Sure.
If you had the Aether Hub, it forced them to interact with it, which sometimes was nice.
Oh no, that's fair. But over time, you know, like we see JD Complarians playing Gifted Aetherborn in that slot in the main deck and having the Siphoners in the sideboard. But if you want to beat the control decks, I think having Siphoner in your main deck is very important.
It is important.
Yeah.
But let's just get to it. All right, how's your hand?
Oh, mine's pretty good. And since I lost yesterday, I will be on the play. Yeah.
I'm good to go.
All right. Let's lead with the Feeded Pools. A lot of times in this deck, you want to try to save Feeded Pools for cycling later in the game, but we desperately need that blue mana.
This is an interesting choice. Go.
I do love the dynamics of these cycling lands out of both of these decks. Just how do you sequence your opening turns, etc.
Search.
That's a good one.
Your turn.
Did not have one of my few main deck answers on turn 2. I'll play Champion of Wits.
Hold on. I'm thinking.
Okay. All right. So I don't really want to get rid of all my Vraska's Contempts because of the power of Teferi, but the rest of my hand is pretty good. So I think I am okay just dumping them for now.
Oh, wow. I'm going to dump that.
I did not draw a different removal spell to get rid of. So
go.
And I do think that in later in the game, this card is going to be pretty important. So whack.
Yep. 18.
All right. I have no illusions that this is going to meet a bitter end. Actually, maybe that's just wrong. You know what? I'm just going to main phase this. If he has Syncopate, he has Syncopate.
Results.
All right, so I get 2 energy.
Yep.
Both those cards seem good. I'll just keep them. Now I can take a peek. Unfortunately, we don't have a ton of things to do with the energy, but we do have some stuff. So
graveyard that as well, and say go.
All right, attack again.
16.
I'll go up to 3 energy.
Yeah.
And I'll play a Glint Sleeve Siphoner.
Results.
Go up to 4 energy and pass the turn.
Glimmer.
That will resolve.
All right, we'll just keep both of these then. Go up to 2 energy myself. All right, I don't even use my energy.
That's fine.
We'll keep that like this.
Go home.
Yep. Push. And your turn.
Now I think Brad's in a spot where he's going to have this search for Scanta online pretty quick. And we need to
14.
force some action here in a second. So we'll go up to 5 and say go.
All right, Glimmer.
In response, I'm going to gear hold. Or, sorry, the resolve.
Glimmer results? Okay, yeah.
Don't want to influence your decision-making process.
This is quite unique. I think I go top, bottom.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Woo, cheater. So I got
was-
4. I'm going to Glimmer and go up to 6 while Brad's tapped out. Get some pressure on the battlefield. We're just going to keep both these 2 spells, both of which can have a serious impact at some point in the game.
All right. I have to make a decision now.
If you want to do something before your Escanta trigger so you can flip it.
Yeah. Don't think I do, though.
There's a lot of posturing in these games, a lot of, not hidden information, but stuff that is hard to talk about in these versus videos.
I'm going to do the same. Try to dig a little bit deeper into my deck. Both on bottom. Draw 2. I have to discard, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the reasons I'm just glimmering here is I'm forcing you to do something with this, but it also lets me pitch a card. So, like, I might potentially get to flip this faster.
All right, contempt this.
Oh, another Hulk? Oh, that's bad.
And I'll go
I'm
up
at
to
7. How many Hulks does that deck play? 2?
probably 2. I don't know.
This is bad.
So I'm at 22. Lost energy from an Ether Hub. Your turn.
This is bad. I don't know. Well, I think I need to find that card no matter what to just have a shot. And if we do that, then we can get to that much mana. So I guess I'm going to cycle, then scry. That's the worst way it could have played out. Ugh.
Now I'm curious to know what it is.
I need it to be under 1.
So you could flip this and
Yeah.
then have 6 mana to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm guessing like 2 removal spells or something. I don't know.
Well, I got to keep it.
Okay.
Contempt 1.
All right, put you to 9.
Yep, your turn. I think I'm just dead.
Oh yeah, because I'm resolving a Liliana.
All right, good game. That was frustrating.
Where you going? Where you had this for that, and had this, and this?
Don't know where I screwed up that game. Maybe. I guess I just never had counter spells. All right, so for sideboarding, I'm going to be boarding this out on the play, and I will be making some differences on the draw. Like, on the draw, I might have less Essence Scatters. I'll have Fatal Pushes over Cast Downs.
Right.
But this is the play configuration that I'm going to choose to do for right now. And just keep in mind that it will change up a little bit if I win this game.
So-
but losing game 1 is really rough for
As someone
me.
who's unfamiliar with the matchup, and for those of you at home, I wanted to ask a few questions about your sideboard
Sure.
choice. That's okay. So, from my perspective, Teferi and Turns of Gearhulk seem like very important cards in this matchup. So, can you tell me why you're boarding one out? Because I'm sure you have a very good reason.
So I know that the matchup comes down to like dresses and stuff like that, but they also, like, you have cards like Deadeye Tracker that can interact with Hulk. And one of the easiest ways to lose with this deck is to clump up like I did last game, where I don't interact with you enough. So I want more card advantage to fight duresses. I want to counter a lot of your cards. I want to be able to deal with them that way. And I want once the game goes really late, how it kind of plays out is your deck is more schizophrenic. So you're going to draw a creature, and then you're going to draw a reactive spell, and you're going to draw this. And you have to try to make all those line up against a deck that I'm focused. I'm just trying to do the same thing whole game. So I'm gonna have redundancy to your like random. So sometimes you can piece that together to be beneficial. But if I choose to go for a little bit more power than redundancy, then your duresses are gonna pick me apart. Your counters can get me in, and I might just like have too many of the same effect. I just don't want too many of these cards when we're now fighting, cheap counter magic.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. From my side, it's pretty straightforward. Brad has a control deck with very few creatures, so cards like Fatal Push and Cast Down are significantly worse in this matchup than they would be against something like Mono Red. Essence Scatter, you could make an argument to keep it in. I did keep one off of Glimmer of Genius in game 1 just because of the strength of Torrential Gearhulk in the matchup, as well as the potential for Brad to cast the Scarab God. But I think it is one of the weaker cards in my deck after sideboard. I may reassess and bring back in 2 if I end up losing game 2, just to have ways to interact with Scarab and Gearhulk. Never to Return, already have 4 Vraska's Contempt. I think this card's a little bit worse because you can't use it with Gearhulk and its sorcery speed, which is a big deal. We're bringing in Duress, Negate. These are cards that are very obviously good against a deck with a bunch of non-creature spells. Another Glimmer, 2 Jace's Defeat to help counter Gearhulks, but it's also just a great card. It's kind of like Negate that can hit Gearhulk and Scarab God, which is awesome. And then 2 Deadeye Trackers, which are just cheap ways to interact with Brad's Graveyard to keep him off of Search for Ascanta, as well as just gave me a little bit of card advantage from time to time.
All right, so we're on the play, and this is exactly what I want. I can get punished by a 2-drop the way I'm going to play this out, but that's how it goes.
My side, we have a little bit of interaction, but we also have a couple of cards that can force Brad's hand, which is exactly what we want in this matchup.
Your turn.
Basic Swamp. Oh, yeah.
No!
Basic Swamp.
No!
No.
Okay.
I mean, well, now that you do that,
Go.
you know, I actually had a dress. I thought this one was better. I thought it was better.
Well, now you can take a card. I don't care about these ones. Just don't go Hub Siphoner.
Yeah, I'm going to go Hub Siphoner.
Oh, no.
All right, so I have 2 energy. I think Brad is just walking the dog and making me do the wrong thing.
No,
I'm pretty sure I just should have went Duress into Siphoner, but luckily...
No, well, probably, yes, I would always go Duress into
I just really wanted to burn this, like, for a removal spell early, because I thought you would just have to push it if you had a push. But, all right, so we'll draw a card, lose life.
This is not going well.
All right, attack for 3, gain energy.
16.
Hub gain energy.
Yeah, this is gross.
I will go ahead and Duress Brad, I think, just so I can use my mana. So, all right, what you got? Syncopate, Disallow, Vraska's Contempt. So Vraska's Contempt is the only one that can interact with this next turn, so I think I'm just going to take that.
Yeah.
It's not even that good.
Are you doing anything else?
No.
14 will draw a card.
All right, yeah, so Brad's a 14 after activating Bloodfast.
Go.
All right, I will cycle this Feed Pool.
Yep.
I don't even know if that's right, but I feel like if I'm drawing a bunch of cards,
18.
I'm going to hit my land drops. Yeah, so I'm 18. Play Drone Catacomb, and I will attack game 1.
11.
I'll pass turn. Just
9.
keep making Brad do stuff.
I'm in a lot of trouble.
Tight.
Seven.
Yep.
Go.
All right. Drop.
Yep.
So I kind of want to sit on Deadeye Tracker this turn. Just because if Brad interacts with this Siphoner, I want to be able to eat his graveyard before he can do something like Gearhulk. Or if he puts a card into the graveyard, I want to be able to try to get a little value off of this. So, all right, I'll attack.
Yeah.
You're at 5.
Mm-hmm.
I will pass turn.
Cycle.
Would the draw on the stack... Actually, is that even worth it? Sure, that's fine.
All right, my turn.
No. Trigger on the stack.
Sure.
I'll go ahead and tracker.
Sure.
So, top card, it's a land. Put in my hand.
What is this world? Discard. Go.
Okay.
Yeah, this is bad. I probably shouldn't have played the Bloodfest on 2.
Oh, because you had Syncopate.
Yeah, I just had counter spells.
All right, so I go to 17. Lose my energy.
I'm dying the way Guillaume Wafatafa would want me to, though. With 5 counters in my hand.
All right.
I'm going to cast Geralt.
How do you want me to beat you?
What's your hand?
Jace Defeat, Commit to Memory.
Okay, yeah, if you have multiple counters, yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and call it. I'm better than Jerry Thompson at playing this blue-black deck against you.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, I 2-0'd Jerry, you 2-0'd me.
Yeah, I mean, that's just math.
That's how it works.
That's my new catchphrase, by the way.
That's just math?
It's just math.
You don't even know how math works.
Carry the 2.
No.
I don't know. Yeah, so I think this matchup is not nearly as lopsided as those games felt. Like, I felt like my draws were, like, pretty good. I definitely struck at some opportune moments. Like, games where the opponent doesn't draw an answer to Glintsley Siphoner.
I probably take out too much removal.
Probably.
Yeah, I probably should keep in.
I mean, Siphoner is just so good that if your opponent doesn't deal with it, it can very easily steal games. And in matchups like this, one of the game types you can have it's like the old school fairies matchup where it's like one person has Bitter Blossom and the other one can't interact with it.
Yeah, and I had a counter for it. I should have probably just not played the Bloodfest and maybe played it later, because I did die with 5 counters in my hand to a 2-drop that I could have countered. Yeah, that that's stupid.
Well, if you want to get technical. If you held up 2 mana there's a good chance that I duress you before I play Siphoner.
But then I have Disallow up.
Yeah, but then I just wait.
And
then you have to start countering like Champion of Wits and other stuff.
Yeah, it's true. It would have played out differently.
Yeah, I mean, once you have perfect information, like the matchup is very strange in that sequencing duresses is fairly difficult. Yeah. Like sometimes, like I had 3 Champion of Wits in my hand the whole game, and I just never cast one because I knew you had a bunch of counter spells. My hand was like Commit to Memory, Jace's Feet, Scarab God.
Just hold up 2 counters and just do that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really wanted to win this one because I don't want the week to come down to me playing Vintage.
Sure.
Because I constantly embarrass myself in this format, not knowing how to do anything.
Well, I mean, it's a very complex format with a bunch of weird old cards that you don't get to see a whole lot of. So it makes sense.
Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow for some Vintage, and I will probably put on a worse performance than I did today. See you tomorrow.